Well, hello, and thanks everybody for being here. The fact that we have such a great turnout says a lot about the enthusiasm that we have in this area of the state. My name is Steve Doyle, and I represent the 94th Assembly District. And much like the 3rd Congressional District as a whole, my district is deeply purple. In fact, I'm the only Democrat in the state assembly currently representing a Republican-leaning district, and Donald Trump actually won my district both 2016 and 2020. Not going to happen this year, though. Of course, this year, we finally have fair maps. I've been in the legislature since a special election in 2011, and this year is the first time that I have ever had a chance to maybe be in the majority. I cannot tell you how exciting that possibility is. In fact, I wasn't sure I was going to run, and then when I saw what the numbers looked like where we could actually make some decisions, that kind of sewed it up for me. So the idea that we could finally pass legislation instead of doing good things, instead of staving off bad things, really is an incredible possibility for us. We could return rights to our brothers and sisters in labor. We could guarantee a woman's right to her own health care decisions. We could protect our environment, roll back the egregious campaign finance laws that have been put in place. We could improve access to health care, prioritize child care and paid family leave, and so much more. And that's just the first couple of weeks. Democrats in the legislature have been in a permanent minority since the 2011 redistricting, and that has finally changed, and it truly is a new day in Wisconsin. Get this, I now represent a Biden +9 district. However, that's 9 votes, not 9 percentage points. Out of over 30,000 votes cast, President Biden only would have won my new district by 9 votes. So I got a little work ahead of me. Don't ever let anyone tell you that your vote doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is that while the majority is definitely within reach, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take door knocking and phone calls and donations, getting out talking to friends and family, helping register people to vote, putting out yard signs, donating your time and your money. All of those things from all of us is going to be so important. In my personal case, I've always run as though I'm 5 points behind, which is usually pretty accurate, actually. So this week, I have to be in Madison. As you probably heard, we're there to protect Governor Evers' veto because Republicans have a bunch of things that they would like to override the veto on. And in this last election, we knew that we had to get enough votes to prevent that. And my district was number 35, which is in terms of going from most Democratic to most Republican. And mine was like the last one where we actually won. In other words, districts 36, 37, 38, we didn't win. And so makes me feel kind of important, but also makes me feel like I got this target on my back, which is probably pretty accurate. But it's not just me who needs help. There's nearly 20 assembly districts throughout the 3rd CD, including my fellow lacrosse representative, Jill Billings, and my colleague, Jody Emerson from Eau Claire. We need to hold these seats if we have any hope of getting the majority. So I want people to I want you to come and help me, but I want you to help them too. And it's not just those of us. We also need to look up and down the ticket. My good friend Brad Paff, he's up for re-election, and he needs your help. In fact, his Senate district includes my assembly district. So here's a double thing for you. If you want to come and knock on doors for me, you could also be knocking on doors for Brad at the same time and get a 2-for-1. So just saying, you could come. We just found out who Brad's opponent will be, and she is cut from the same cloth as Derek Van Orden, crazy cloth that is. We need Brad's brand of bringing people together in the Capitol, not his opponent's brand of divisiveness. Brad isn't the only Senate district in the 3rd CD that's up for election. There's 4 different Senate seats that are at least partly within the 3rd CD, and the Democrats running in each of those need your help. Speaking of the 3rd CD, we have 3 great Democrats running against Derek Van Orden. We may each have our favorite, but in the end, we need to come together after the primary and kick DVO to the curb. So I saw my friend Katrina Shanklin over there. Katrina and I have worked together for more than a decade. I can honestly say she'd be a great member of Congress. So would Rebecca Cook. So would Eric Olson. We are so fortunate to have such a wealth of talent and quality. There is not a bad choice among them, unless you jump over to the Republican side. That's a really bad choice. It seems like every time we hear about DVO in the news, it's some fresh embarrassment to our state. It's time that we replace him with somebody who truly values Western Wisconsin, people who actually have always lived in Western Wisconsin, for example, and taking back the third CD has to be one of our top priorities. Of course, we have some other priorities too. Senator Tammy Baldwin's on the ballot this year. Her opponent, nice of him to move back from California or wherever he actually has been living all these years. She has been an inspiration to so many of us over the years, and we need to make sure that we send her back to Washington to keep doing all the things that she has been doing for us. And then, maybe you haven't heard a lot about this, but there's also a presidential election this year. And we need to send Joe Biden back to the White House. He has been getting things done since day one, despite a dysfunctional Congress. I mean, they give new meaning to the word dysfunctional out there. And a Supreme Court that seems out to get him. But regardless of what the other side throws at him, President Biden just seems to keep being able to get things done for us. Not with the help necessarily of Congress, because they're usually too busy fighting with each other, but he's just getting things done on his own. And I hope that in this next election, people realize we do functional things, they do dysfunctional things. We focus on solving problems, they focus on culture wars, and we need to get people to understand that if you want our country to move forward, elect Democrats. I mean, it's very simple. So let me end with this. I'm also a La Crosse County supervisor, and I was just reelected about 2 weeks ago. The local Republican Party spent over $10,000 for a county board race trying to unseat me. They spent more against me on this county board race than they ever have done before. Let me give you some context. There were only 855 votes cast in that election, and my opponent got only 355 of those. In other words, they spent nearly $30 for every vote that they got against me in that election. They are a well-funded machine, they are not afraid to spend, and they will spend big and they will spend ugly. And just like us, the Republicans are gearing up for November right now, and if April is any indication, we're in for a long and ugly fight. And I don't need to tell you what kind of scary awaits us if we fail to deliver Wisconsin for Joe Biden or Tammy Baldwin, or if we let DVO keep his seat. I can certainly say that it's nothing good. So we need to get fired up, need to go out and fight like hell. Like I said earlier, my doors start next week, and I and everyone here needs your help. Come knock on doors with us, make phone calls, donate money. Together we can take back the state legislature, kick DVO to the curb, send Tammy and Joe Biden back to Washington, and in the process, we might just save democracy. Let's get to work. Thank you.